Okay, so today we're going to be diving into a little bit of a recap about Microsoft's Ignite conference for 2025. We'll start with a quick history of Ignite, and then we'll transition into a little bit of a discussion of why Ignite is important, who it's for, and why events like these matter in 2025 going into 2026.
Yeah, definitely. So we can jump right into it here. So, first we'll talk a little bit about just kind of the background, history of Microsoft Ignite. So, Microsoft Ignite was originally known as Tech Ed. The first Tech Ed conference took place back in 1993 in Orlando, Florida, and it was mainly designed for IT professionals, developers, and people sort of looking for like hands-on technical training and also networking. So the final Tech Ed conference was held back in 2014 in Barcelona, Spain, and in 2015, Microsoft rebranded Tech Ed as Microsoft Ignite. So the first official Ignite took place in Chicago, actually, in 2015. So right here at home.
Nice, right in the heart of Chicago. Today, Microsoft Ignite is an annual conference that lasts between 3 to 5 days. The conference combines a couple of different things, such as product announcements, technical sessions, strategic keynote speakers, and then it also provides an opportunity for networking and partnership conversations. So that is kind of the back history of Microsoft's Ignite. But I guess the real question is, what does Ignite actually mean today? So, Matt, what was kind of like your initial impression of Ignite when you heard about it?
It seemed pretty cool. It seemed like this sort of gathering the minds, where some really smart people sort of get together and discuss different topics going on in the industry, when it comes to, different Microsoft, products and sort of the direction that, the technology industry is going in. So yeah, it seemed like a really cool, like networking opportunity, a place to sort of showcase, new ideas, new concepts, new themes. I would say, I think Ignite is a great name for it because that's really, what it is. It's sort of like an ignition, for like the next step or the next phase in software. So yeah, that's kind of my summary of it, I would say.
Yeah, have you heard about Ignite prior to coming to Imperium?
No, I had no idea what it was. But after doing some research, it seems like a really cool thing. Like I would definitely love to go and just kind of take it all in. And I watched some videos on it, or I watched a video on it on YouTube, and it was really cool. It seemed like some great energy, like the intro and the guest speaker that I listened to. Yeah, it seemed like a great time.
Yeah, I would say after watching the keynote section of the Microsoft Ignite conference, I can see that there is a lot of passion and energy that their speakers bring to the room that really just engages the audience and does a really good job covering new ideas and what the mission and purpose and drive is behind what their focus is for the upcoming year. And also, I think at Ignite, they really do a good job providing a mix of both technical and I would say technical discussion, and then also some of the strategic discussion, but also breaking it down to a level that really, again, just captivates the audience. And so I guess kind of like after reviewing this, who do you think gets the most value out of attending these Microsoft conferences?
I would say, I think it's such a broad, demographic of people that could benefit from this. You have people who are looking for, networking opportunities, trying to connect with other people in the industry. You have people who kind of want to hear, like, what's the new big thing? Like, what direction is the tech industry moving in? So I almost think it's kind of, impossible to say like what one group of people would benefit from it the most, since like there's a lot that it's offering. But I would say really like anyone who is interested in technology and what it can do, and like the next step of like what is the computer going to be used for. So I would say anyone who's interested in that would probably gain something from it.
Yeah, absolutely. From what I could tell, it seemed like there was a good mix of IT professionals, different Microsoft partners, and even accounts kind of looking for the next steps in their AI journey that did attend this event. I will say too that I recently in my own personal life have had a lot of discussions about AI, specifically with, I would say, like some of the older adults in my life who are not quite sure how AI would apply to them as they are, I guess, with AI becoming such a new topic. I mean, really, it's only been kind of like on the forefront of people's minds for maybe like the last 2.5 years or so. But recently, I just having discussions with like my parents and my grandparents, specifically my dad. The other day we were talking and he's like, Sarah, I really want to know more about AI. Like, I'm just trying to get a good understanding and approach on this. And after watching the Microsoft Ignite conference, I shared it to my personal socials, and I was like, for anybody who is trying to understand or have a good grasp on where AI is headed, I think this would actually be a very beneficial keynote to listen to just kind of get some kind of like baseline understanding for AI. And I don't really think, I mean, that just kind of scratches the surface for understanding. There's so many concepts that go into it, and even just understanding how to use Copilot, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, all of the different AI models that we use. So I guess in reality, it kind of just benefits anybody who is willing to learn and is willing to put the time in to understand what is becoming of AI. So I guess that kind of ties into why events like these are important. It's important to have conferences, and really that's in any industry that you're in. And before we hopped on this recording, Matt and I were just talking about how, why do we have conferences? Why are they important? Why do various industries have them? Have we attended conferences in other industries or areas of life? And I can think back to when I was in high school. The very first conference I attended was a drug summit for my local county that was addressing the topic of opioid usage and where they were strategizing to cut down on that problem within my local county where I was going to school. And so there were some really great discussions there. I think it really opens up the room for community and strategizing in different ways to hear different, sides. And what would you say?
Yeah, definitely. I think, conferences are pretty cool. Topic. I attended the Microsoft AI tour in Chicago at McCormick Place, and it was really awesome. It was really cool. Like, they had this really big tablet, like Microsoft tablet, and you could stand on it, like, get your pictures taken, and they even had like a giant stylus, like that sort of pen thing that you can use. And the energy just in the conference was awesome. It was, a lot of people who are, really interested in technology and where it's going. Everyone's sort of bouncing ideas off of each other and, just, I would say, learning and collaborating. So it was a great time. I really enjoyed it. I'd definitely go back. I think conferences are always a great, way or idea for a company to sort of, show the world, like, this is the next stage of what's happening and really drum up excitement, for new products. So I think overall, conferences are, a great tool and just sort of a great, like, kickoff spot for new things,
Yeah, I know I was excited after listening to a keynote. I think they did a really good job, just like you said, drumming it up, hyping it up for the new year. And I think they did a really good job presenting some of the key themes that were presented at Ignite. Just to do a little bit of a recap, there was discussions around agentic AI, the use of Foundry and Azure innovations. Basically, these matter right now now, because as we continue to progress, I guess in the business world and outside of the business world too, with just applying AI to literally every aspect of life, it's important that we're moving away from, I guess, using AI as a partner and more so implementing it into our infrastructure and understanding how it can, I guess, not just be a quote unquote new browser, I guess you could say, but using it as like an everyday tool that you would use the same way that you would, you use your email as an everyday tool. It's just across the board added to so many different things. You've got it, for work uses, work cases. It's the way that grocery stores are now using AI to monitor their fridge controls. You've got it in your automotive industry, different vehicles, and even in healthcare. So it's becoming very evident that it's not going anywhere, I guess you could say. And then, so kind of looking ahead, what is something that you would like to see Ignite address in the future, maybe in 2026's conference or moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think AI would be really cool, seeing how I think we're sort of right at that stage where, most companies are at least convinced that AI is going to be, the next big thing. I think that sort of waiting period of like, is AI going to go mainstream? Is it still this sort of niche like thing? I think we're sort of like right just a little bit past that, where most people have heard of it, they understand what it can be used for, generally speaking, and now I think we're sort of in that stage where it's like, all right, this is going to be pretty common in the workplace and even just in day-to-day life. I mean, I use AI, when I need to figure out how long I should cook something, or, I need quick information about something. So yeah, I mean, I think like some really like use cases I think would be cool to hear about, like how did AI help save this company money, or how did AI catch this one mistake that, a human error would have let slip past. I think that'd be really cool to hear, like some actual hard factual instances where like AI really helped, this company or this person or this organization or this nonprofit. I think having some of those would be really cool in the future, once AI has sort of shown what it can do. But yeah, I would say that.
Yeah. I would say too, I think discussions around kind of like the safeguards for AI will be something that are beneficial. That seems to be kind of one of the big concerns for just ensuring there's no data leakage. Or just yesterday, I was actually having a conversation with somebody who is in the education industry, and we were talking about how when it comes to implementing AI for K through 12 and even higher education, community college, right now they're only focused around adding licenses for those who are 13 and older, because obviously there's the question of, is there security when it comes to putting AI into the hands of young students and kids, and is there, like what kind of content they have access to. So I think for me personally, I'd like to see more discussion around, again, those safeguards for AI. And also I'm sure companies are obviously and rightfully very concerned about the data and leakage of their intellectual property, or I always think of healthcare and their patient information, and just remaining compliant with HIPAA standards. So I think that's something that I would like to see some conversations about in the future, probably more so in the near future than further on, because I think those are just so important, and I think that's going to help people overcome a barrier to understanding the utilization of AI. And really the safeguards and the data security are one of Microsoft's big main focuses, and they mentioned that at the Ignite conference, that's like one of their top things that they are focused on. And then I think from there, that'll help businesses understand the ROI and just the value in using AI and implementing it into their infrastructure in the long term. So really, to kind of wrap up and recap the discussion that we've had, it really comes down to the fact that these conferences that Microsoft is doing, it's for the purpose of education. It's for displaying the direction of where they intend to go and providing that transparency for their customers, for people who just want to learn and understand and know what is coming, and also to build community. I think it's so great that these conferences allow for networking opportunities, to just have real in-person valuable discussions. I think when you're able to see people in person, it just creates such a personal note and it just adds value to the conversation, I guess you could say. We spend so much time on our computers and on Teams meetings and calls that I think we forget that touch that we have access to when we're able to communicate in person. So big hats off to Microsoft for this year's conference. They did a phenomenal job, and we look forward to seeing what Microsoft has in store for the new year and their conferences that are coming up. Any final notes?
I think I just say I think AI is a very powerful tool, and it's like that Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility. So yeah, I think it's a really strong thing, and it's definitely the future. And it's kind of like what you were saying about like the guardrails, people need to be smart with it, and I think it'll be a great thing. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, listeners, for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. Tune in for the next episode. We will be having a guest speaker. His name is Sam Lutman. We will be having a discussion around patient satisfaction. We encourage you to follow us or listen along, subscribe to Imperium's YouTube channel where you can listen to all of our episodes. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a good one.
awesome. Catch you next time.